And we are live with the first episode of Looking Into with Practica Capital, and Tim on one side of the microphone and the table and Jonas on the other side of the mic. So the first topic we'll be looking into is hacker culture, hacker houses, hacker spaces. We'll elaborate on this further down the road. It's been one of the biggest trends in the Baltics in 2025. Started with Space, Room in Tallinn followed, Shipyard is hacking currently in Riga, Latvia. I think it's a very interesting topic to kind of expand to zoom in, to understand a bit more the dynamics, the motivation, how are they different, if they are different, and what are the ambition and potential kind of positive outcomes for the ecosystem. So, as I said, today we're starting with Space. Jonas, hello.
Salam alaikum.
Bro, it's been very, very, very interesting ride for you. I mean, I know you only for half a year, I guess,
right.
but you have quite a history. So maybe let's start with setting kind of the framework. Yourself, your co-founder, what's the background? What did you do before? And how did you end up here?
You know, Tim, when you say that you know me for half a year, I know myself only for a year and a bit, to be honest, because this is the JBV2, something that happened in 2024, October, and that opened the opportunities, the energy, the vision, the belief and love to everything that we do, and that's how it all came together, you know, that because it is genuine. And the past Jonas, you know, up until I was 28, actually, I've been doing a bunch of things. I'm originally
How old are you now? Sorry.
28.
No, okay.
Yeah. So it's like literally just over the last year, the life has been completely different. I started in Klaipėda, West Coast, right? Spent some time there. First of my 18 years, had a good run, I guess. Really loved music. I wanted to be a conductor eventually, but my parents told me that you have such a big head, man. You need to be doing something smart. So I was like, all right, fuck it, you know, let's go to the high school that had like kind of focus or like more tailored, you know, to maths, programming, and all of that. But since very young age, since I was 13, I was trying to do something. You know, I wanted to get the ball rolling. You know, I never liked asking for permission, never liked asking for money, you know, from my parents. So my very first business was actually selling flowers in like massive bouquets, you know, like, and I started the flower delivery when I was 13-year-old. My dad was driving me around, and that's how the first money kind of started coming in my way. Then ended up selling Victoria's Secret mist to the teachers, you know, getting better grades, fireworks, you know, all of that, fixing phones. And then it happened that I actually stumbled across Lithuania Junior Achievement Program in school. And I did my first student company. And I guess that was the beginning of realizing that, okay, you know, it's not just about making money, but making something that people care about, right? So I think I was 14, 15 back then. Something that people care about was Jonas & Co. handmade bow ties. So I was like literally designing and working with the sewing machine myself. My dad taught me how to do it. Kudos to Linus. Thank you very much, boss.
It's actually funny because in my university, one of my best friends, Kate, she had access to very good fabrics, very cheap fabrics from Vietnam. Right. So she started bow tie business in London, selling a shortage in different markets. So
I think it was a bit of a kind of like trend or uptick in bow ties. You know, there was like a boom. Everybody was like trading the ties into the bow ties. So that was jokes, but yeah, it's just a funny story. But I actually, the next year I joined the team Noob Apps, and you know, we did pretty well and had the chance to represent Lithuania in the National Junior Achievement Fair in Berlin. And that's when I met some other crazy 14, 15-year-olds. And I was like, oh my God, like actually they're so much better and cooler than I am. And I need to leave. I need to leave Lithuania. So that's what happened when my plan was, I never had to study a lot. it was kind of like going all right. But then when I realized that after coming from Berlin, that I want to be surrounded by some of the dopest and smartest people, I need to leave. I need to fly out somewhere. And that was UK for me. So the 12th grade was me actually grinding, trying to get the grades up. I managed to get like really, really good results to get into University of Warwick, and ended up studying finance, which was BS, to be honest. And it's very like, it's really good that I did finance and I hated it. So I started building further out. And yeah, I don't know, tried another maybe 4 different companies that didn't work out. COVID happened, came back to Lithuania. And then was like, okay, what should I do? I had an offer from Deloitte Ventures and UBS. And then my friend and I were like, let's do a branding studio. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's give it a try. Maybe it will be fun. And then I think over the first month, we paid ourselves 350 euros. And then I called the guys in and it's like, look, I'm not coming in, forget my job application. And that's when the real path really started. Since then, tried quite a few startups. The more successful one was the game studio. Managed to pull some friends and family capital, like 40K. Flew to US to a few conferences. Ended up randomly. It's a funny story. I can share later if interested. But TLDR was that somehow got connected to Founders Inc. Came back to Klaipėda, to Palanga, was spending the summer there, like literally on a call with the SEF boys in the over the nights. And then they invited me to come over. I went there for 2 months. I worked out the Founders Inc. office, and then they said, yeah, man, like we would love to give you a ticket. So that's when we raised 400K, and that was the life-changing experience that happened.
And I mean, after this life-changing experience, fast forward, you still decide that the best opportunity or the best possible next step forward would be to move back to Lithuania.
Oh, no.
What's in the middle?
No, in the middle was depression, alcohol, breaking up with, the girlfriend leaving me, failing the company, the people that believed in me, coming back, like being 26 years old, in San Francisco, being a baller, posting pictures of like, working my ass off, Golden Gate Bridge, I can see through the window, and then Klaipėda, really dark gray skies. Everybody's like depressed. No one even understands what the startup is. No infrastructure, no cool people. And I'm just like trying to kind of play it cool that, oh yeah, summer, seaside is fun. No, it wasn't. Like it was the most difficult time in my life when everything failed. I failed the people that really that believed in me, that opened the doors. And like for as far as I can remember, I always wanted to be in Silicon Valley. I was like, fuck, I need to prove myself. I need to be there. $1 billion company founder, yada yada. And then I was like, I had this opportunity and I failed it. I'm a stupid fuck. And that was tragic. But it happened that I met someone really special, actually Agne, and she's like an energetic healer. I had a chat with her, and you know what she told me that changed my life completely? That everything is fine with me. I don't have any traumas, and I can just do whatever the fuck I want. And for the first time, someone saw me the way I am. I didn't have to pretend. I didn't have to be someone. I wasn't really a founder or anything to her. I was just another human being that she looked at me. She felt the genuine connection that we had. And she just said that. And I was like, wow. I was like, I know, what can I do to move to the next level? She's like, stop drinking and start exercising. So I did that. So I've been sober now for 15 months or so. And been running, been exercising, did 100 days challenge over the previous winter. Got fit, six pack, everything, locked in. Then kind of was like, okay, maybe it's not that interesting to kind of push it through. So the next challenge was, what if I run an ultra marathon? An ultra marathon is basically everything after 50K-ish. But I was like, that's not my type of number. So I went for 104. I started preparing like properly in June 2025, and then ran the ultra marathon in 14 and a half hours in Kuršių area, the seaside, like 104 kilometers and something.
Crazy. How long did you prepare for?
So it was like properly when I started running like 40-kilometer weeks plus, it was June. So June, okay. July, August, September, October, 5 months. But I was fit before that, right? Because I was doing exercise and all that.
Yeah. And during this time, Base Space was already happening in some form.
Oh my God, bro. Like on it, like it was the fundraise moment, you know? It was the fundraise period when we were like, okay, so either we survive or we die. And
but wait, let's take a step back briefly. Yeah. So you decide that you're coming back. You clearly saw some kind of a gap in opportunity when it comes to local tech environment or startup environment. So what was the biggest motivation? How did it click? Because Base Space is, you know, not only you, but the co-founder as well. So how did this click? And what did you see was missing that you decided to put all of the efforts in building this in Lithuania?
I did see it, but I never believed that it can happen. So like all the kudos actually goes to Ignas and Martinas, because I joined, you know, it was, so Martinas and I, we knew each other from before. I knew his brother from Berlin and then from the same school. Yeah. But TLDR is that when we were in San Francisco, he was at Founders Inc. And he said, man, we should do that in Lithuania. I was like, man, in Lithuania, what do you mean? It's important. First, we don't have people. Second, we don't have capital. It will like you will not be able to replicate that, because Founders Inc. like they are sponsoring everything themselves. Furkan is like putting his own money, and then they raise the fund as well, and deploy capital to people, and that's how they can attract the best people. And San Francisco is obviously a hotspot for the most cracked founders. And I was like, it's impossible. And then some time passed. The guys were like Ignas and Martinas were doing something, kind of figuring out, and then. Martinas messaged me, is like, yo, we actually got a space in Vilnius free of charge. You should come by. I was like, very interesting. And I come in there and I see all of my friends and I'm like, fuck, okay, this is something. And the reason why, so I also had this interesting pivotal moment where, like all that depression and everything before moving to Vilnius, because I was at my parents' place. I had debt. I had to kind of figure that shit out, so I was like doing like contract work, to cover that. And I asked myself a question. So what do I want? I was saying maybe a sabbatical, like go to Southeast Asia. I spent some time there before. I loved it, cheap, nice, traveling, meeting people, just maybe take a bit of a break from building. And, but then I looked into myself generally and asked, so what do I really want? I felt extremely fucking lonely. So I was like, I want friends. And the answer where most of my friends were was Vilnius. So that's why I came here, right? And it happened that Base Space was already there. Ignas and Martinas invited like maybe first 5 or 6 or like up to 10 people. And we knew all each other because we, like all of us were cooking, like building our own projects, our own startups. And I was working on 2 of the startups that I am not working anymore when I joined. And then it kind of naturally sort of started coming together, like I started taking initiative. Like I was super excited on how things were done in Founders Inc. because we were a portfolio company. I've seen how do they work with them, like what people they bring, how do we do the show and tell, Ship It Thursdays, in other words, that we started doing, the mentality of people, like I used to work there for like 14 hours a day, but there were dudes that I would come in, they are there, I would leave, they're still there. I couldn't understand, how that was possible. And kind of naturally spiraled out that in January, I was like, let's do an open Ship It, right? And then we invited our friends, those friends invited friends of friends, and then more than 100 people turned up, and we're like, okay, we might be onto something, so that's the very
so the initially there wasn't an aim to create something. It was basically there was a room, there were hacker friends, they invited you invited somebody, and all of a sudden it was a room full of people who were hacking on their own solution, unstructured way, no big vision, just having a good time, having a free space, let's do it.
Exactly. It was it's an interesting phenomenon, I would say, in I think in like Eastern Europe, like Central Europe, or like in Europe in general, that rent is relatively free. So it's not really expensive to rent out an office. It's like 600 to 1,000 euros a month for like 8 people to sit. And that's what everybody does. Whenever they have like a few co-founders, they rather than go to like a fancy co-working space, they just rent like a shitty office and they stay there. And what that creates is that it separates us. Like, we are not in the same physical vicinity, right? Like, these accidental bump-ins, the conversations that you hear, the water cooler, the coffee chats, like the laughs and the lunch together is something that was the magic. And I think Founders Inc., like, they nailed it, because Furkan and Hubert, like, they are paying every single day. They bring really quality lunch for the founders. They feed them, like, and the whole community. So like 100 people, have a feast together. And these are the times when they share food and, have the conversations, get to know each other and help each other. So that was the magic. It wasn't the infrastructure, it wasn't the space, nothing. It was just that we were all in the same room at a very similar stage in all of our startup journeys, and that we just liked each other,
But what happened then? At which point did the motivation kick in to start doing something bigger? Because at the moment, following the timeline, you just did something naturally, organically, without bigger intention. But knowing you and talking to you now, I know that there's a big kind of mission-driven aim or goal to build on top. To you're referring to this as building a generational company, business.
Yes.
At which point did you understand that this is now a company that I'm operating? And what was it at first? Because some people say it was just a hacker space. Right. Some people say it's community, co-working space. So what's behind
Incubator, accelerator, they're trying to put us in the box, and we always tell them, fuck you, we're nothing that, we're a base space, all right, listen up. Like, I had, like, for such a long time, I was kind of restraining myself in a way. And I was like, man, I'm a tech founder. What the fuck am I doing here? Like, I should build, like, AI is booming, like we were building an image generation startup for furniture businesses. The outputs that we were providing were better than the YC company that has raised like I think 5 million back then that was doing, and we were like literally bootstrapping dudes, trying to get the first customers. And I closed a client for like, I think 30 or 40K, like an enterprise deal in a matter of a week. And I was like, oh my God, like this is fire. But then actually how I came in as a co-founder of BaseSpace was that I know how to talk, right? And I can maybe sometimes convince people, and I have this energy that's a bit maybe electrifying, and bringing this a bit different way of living, and in general being genuine and real, not trying to pretend that I'm smarter, or rather, like I would say that people see that maybe I'm a silly goose, but and I am to some extent, but at the same time, we can definitely have really interesting and serious conversations. So that helped me to provide value to Ignas and Martinas, right? Which was, so what should we do? I really didn't want this to close. And honestly, it was for my personal reasons. I had a team. I wanted to be surrounded by cool people, and I was like, man, we're not paying anything here. Like this is really good. And I said, let me do the fundraise for you boys. Let me run it through. I know a few people. I know Jona, I know Arvidas. Other people know me. I have a bit of a track record that I've raised, San Francisco, all of that. I can kind of push it through. And it was a very, very funny thing. And I was like, Ignas, can you put together, like, how much money do we need for a year? And, a few days after, he comes to me and he says, I looked at it, maybe someone like for the operations. And then, he literally counted how much toilet paper we would need. And it's like, 60K would be pretty fucking sick. I was like, all right. I was like, bro, like we should definitely do like at least 100K, and that was like, oof, quite some. And then Arvidas came and we had a chat, and that 100K became 1 million, like right on. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Like they see something here that we might not be seeing. And even though, when we fundraise, like everybody is calling this as a charity project, a social impact project or whatever. But I do see this as a generational company, and that took me a while to understand. So I came to this realization that we were like sitting down with Ignas, and I was like, man, because I was contributing part-time, by the way, at the very beginning, because I was working on my other projects. And then like I started working more on base, you know, it was really fun. I was literally standing on a cliff. Well, not literally, but like this was the moment where I was having a conversation with myself, and you know, I've been kind of brainwashed, but in a good way. Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk, YC. I did startup school maybe 3 or 4 times. I went through the course, you know, because I never could fucking succeed and get in, you know. A16Z speedrun, right? Like SPC. We even got an interview before with Lucas to join the program, but they said like the vision was not there because the energy was not there, because the heart was not there. Because I was doing something that, you know, I was doing, but like I didn't live it, right? And then I was on that literal quote unquote cliff, and I didn't know what's below, and I had to take the leap of faith in me, in Ignas, in Martinas, and in understanding and also the gut feeling of mine that, what if this is what you are supposed to do? What if this is the real service? What if this is the real reason you are actually put on this earth? And you know what? I was like, all right, fuck it, and I jumped off that cliff. And you know what? I was so scared that I'm gonna go into the, you know, canyon fall, and you know, everything will, I'll break all my bones and crack my skull. But actually, I just got like ankle deep into the water, and you know, the fish were swimming around me, because it was the monster that I have created, the different Jonas, the image that people that were expecting, something that was created to represent and protect me, like as a mask or an identity that I thought is super cool, but I never accepted myself for who I am actually. And when I did that, then the visions started fucking flowing to me. The energy, the people, the connections, everything, the doors have opened, you know, like our cap table. I mean, look at that. I mean, I didn't know any of them beforehand. Like literally they believed in me, because like we went in, we showed what we want to do. Like, how do we really believe in this? And they felt the energy. And you know, the funny thing about how did we do the fundraise? You know, I came in with with a spreadsheet for 24 months, and there was just only one thing missing. It's called revenue, right? We didn't even have a fucking line in the Excel sheet for revenue. It was only the expense. And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, here we go.
But what was it that you saw, and what did the investors see? That's kind of where I'm trying to get. So what was so meaningful or so important? Because obviously reading the signals, it happened very naturally. You didn't need to push that much. You're referring that it's very kind of organic. So what was it? What was the biggest value when you started?
I guess personally for me, the signal was that all of this a gospel that YC is doing. Oh, you should, the best companies come out when you start them as a side project, as a hobby, something that you're just like very like curious about, you know, trying to do it, something that feels like a play. You know, I was always thinking, oh yeah, building a startup feels like a play. Comparing to how I feel now and how I felt before building the other different 10 startups that I did before, you cannot even put them on the same scale. And I guess the main thing was, like, I am uniquely positioned to do that. And also that was the thing. When we were fundraising, we went to like all the billionaires, the tech giants of Lithuania, you know, like Arvidas did the intros, open all of the doors, you know. And I was like, okay, I need to model. Again, like, you know, kind of like old pattern, old behavior, Jonas. Like, I need to model, how do these billionaires think? How do they do things? What are their routines? How can I be like them? You know, so that I can also, you know, join the table and be around the table, you know, so that they invite me into like events, dinners or whatever, to sauna, you know, get access to information, man, you know, like doing like all of this sort of, I don't know, like hustle porn kind of thing. And then like when I started meeting them, or each one of them, and I was like, man, like it doesn't add up, you know, the matrix is like all over the place. And you know, one thing that was actually really, really common between all of them, that they are unapologetically themselves. And I was like, man, this, like, what the fuck? Like, Thomas and Eimantas, like from Tesonet. So two different dudes running, the same company, crazy, but like they are a certain time. Tadas Burgaila, super smart guy. The EQ level of the guy is insane. We went, Ignas and I went to have a conversation with him. In 10 minutes, he read me like an open book, Ignas like an open book, and he explained the dynamic that we have in the team, that, and I know Ignas for like a year, right? That's been, and he knew and understood us better than we did ourselves and our dynamic in the team. So that all of that kind of triggered down, and it's just like it was the leap of faith and belief in myself and Ignas and Martinas and also the founders around us that this is the way,
But what I'm trying to get there, I'm trying to understand a bit more is what was it that this, like, what was the way that you're referring to? What is it, bringing up the new generation of founders that you felt, or the new format of how businesses need to be built, or what was the initial mission, or kind of why was it so organic? What was the underlying thought that everybody bought into from day one?
We should ask them, why did they buy in? I know what I thought, and I think maybe I could speak for Ignas as well. We were just having such a good time. Like it's insane, like all this grind 996, it usually comes with negative connotation, like, oh yeah, man, like it's difficult. I haven't had sleep, and I'm really tired, depressed, or whatever. We were just flying. Like it was so natural. Like things happened. We did our first hackathon for the budget that we had was 63 euros, and the only thing that really cost us was the check that we gave out, to print it out. It's amazing. It just felt like that things are coming our way and the momentum was there. So I couldn't really pinpoint it to one thing. We were in the flow, and we never wanted to get out of it, and we will never get out of it.
But the first version, then it was basically more structured co-working space, as far as I understand, that you pitched to the investors. So we need to scale, we need to have better conditions. So potentially we need additional capital to make it more structured. It's not only fun, but now we're also organizing this lifestyle or this event. Is that so?
Yeah, to an extent, but I would say it was more about the ecosystem and ecosystem in terms of we went to quite a few different events over the years, right? In Lithuania, in Vilnius. I don't know if I can say it. Well, no offense, guys, but it's like fucking tragic. It's so shit. Like it's not like everybody's pretending to be a startup dude or gal. They come in like with business suits and like big ass presentations. They call themselves like different organizational names, and it's just like so weird. They're getting like fancy conference halls, like doing things in like the 5-star hotels. And like we're like the real founders are fucking cockroaches. They sleep on a mattress. They sleep like in bunk beds, or they don't sleep at all. One of my friends in San Francisco was actually sleeping in a walk-in closet of a friend's house so that he doesn't need to pay rent. What are we talking about? 5-star hotels. I mean, like for successful founders that have scaled, like that's a great event. But for us, for those cockroaches, this is not what we need. Like it was I guess it's just that no one really understood. Like everybody was doing something. None of the accelerator programs work. No offense, First Pick on Plug and Play, but I mean, it's, like no one was given a good testimonial about the thing. It was nice to get money, but like the value there just wasn't there.
So trying to kind of read a bit from your response, it was more of a creating a new system of how to how founders should become successful, or how founders should become founders, how builders or people should become founders.
Exactly.
In a different
way. But I think it's not new.
Yeah, I agree. But
it's just for some reason it has been done wrong, and like and no one says anything. So Because I'm a vocal guy, so I was like, all right, this is shit. But let's change it.
Don't you think? Because when I draw parallels time wise, when you started, when it became kind of hot,
Yeah.
and I remember in Estonia, where I'm from, it was kind of one of the most talked about topics. I mean, base space, there's some kind of a hacker house,
Right.
and people were kind of, one portion of people were saying, yeah, but hacker house is nothing new, but another side or another portion of the people were referring it as kind of very needed innovation for the Baltics. Like we're finally getting to the part where US has been like 15 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I also remember that during the same time, it was kind of shift of culture. Sintra raised a big round that was exploding. There was this AI wave becoming stronger and stronger. The dynamics of how to build a business, how to scale a business, how to form a business, we're going through changes. So do you think that it was just the moment of time that you jumped onto and built on top?
Yeah.
Or do you think that this is forced way by new generation of founders to bring this to the table and to create this new system or new kind of era?
Okay, so two things. There's no really like any innovation in hacker house system or co-working stuff. Like it's not about that. It's that people want to be around like-minded people. That's it. Like we are like longing that human connection. Because like if you ask any founder, whenever they had their first idea, no one believed in them. No one. Like they're the black sheep. You're on your own. You're going against the status quo. No one really like what a startup, 10 years ago, people didn't even know what does the entrepreneurship mean. It was like a very difficult word to pronounce in Lithuanian, and now we're looking at actually some of the top, most wealthiest people in Lithuania or like Baltics in general are tech founders. So I guess it's literally, we are not really doing much. We're just building the infrastructure or like a platform for people to connect. We went the ways to figure out how to get a space that is free, how to bring cool people and validate them. So we do have a bit of a kind of invite only angle. We need to test you because A players want to be across A players. If you're a B player, you bringing down the average, so you gotta go, right? And I guess this is what created this like flywheel of really good companies, and honestly that we managed to find these people and be in touch with them before anyone else saw them. And I think this is what we're really good at, spotting, finding the talent, because we are in the trenches with them. It's so Sintra, an amazing case. Chris, actually, I met Chris in Palanga when I was raising for my previous startup, and we kind of got connected about surfing and living a van life because he was traveling and he was he was planning to go to Portugal, and I kind of just came back from there. And we were having conversations and talking about like very deep and important things and building that connection between us. And like, I always knew what he's working on, like it was, everybody knew within our circle, but none of the VCs knew, right? Why? I don't know. It was natural. Maybe like we are that new generation in terms of thinking. We believe that value-driven life is more important than like just capitalistic sort of approach to seeing things and building relationships. It's not transactional, right? Like we give each other first. We kind of like stand in a circle as a community, as friends, as founders, and we give in first, with an expectation that eventually when the time comes, like all of that, all of the things that we have given each other will accumulate to something that will be massive, and we all gonna benefit from it. So a bit of a kind of like communa sort of cult feeling maybe, but that also gives this importance and trust and connection between the people. That no one will fuck you over. And when when the trust barrier is set, when you don't need to worry about the things that you're going to say or reveal, and you can be genuine and honest, you can ask questions, and by asking questions, you figure things out and you go to the next stage. And obviously Sintra was the unlock, and especially Chris age, I think he was 22 back then, right? Like when they raised, or 20, something like that, super young, crazy valuation, scaling. Oh my God, like, the heads exploding, Sequoia flying in, it's like, what's going on? What is this? What is this dude doing? So I guess like that was the shakeup in the minds of the institutional, or like the other side of the scale, VCs, angels, in general, like the ecosystem, right? All of those public institutions that are doing things that are like, wait, they are not kids. Like they are kids, but they're doing things that are not kid-like, So I guess like that, the momentum and the timing was perfect. It had to be both, right?
And do I understand correctly that it's not only AI enablement, it's a shift of mentality, or kind of the way?
100%. I think we were having an interesting conversation actually, that what AI actually does? It saves time for us, so we do less work, so we can think more, right? And maybe all of the reason and the change in everything that we do here is because of the AI. It's like a bit maybe a funny conspiracy theory, but we just have more time to connect, to talk. It's interesting. We're exploring. We're able to create, to innovate, to experiment in such a short periods of time with such a little input of cash and time and effort and knowledge. You don't even need to understand it to build the app. You can one-shot it, with a prompt and then show it to someone. The feedback loop is insanely fast. You will see today the traction that everybody's getting. Like, it's insane. And it's just 21 days.
Jumping a bit back, so you launched you got the funding together. Very successful, very momentum, very happy. You're turning a lifestyle into something more of a business, let's say. I remember the first launch, it was batches. So you gathered people, they formed the teams, they started participating, you put them through batch, basically acceleration type of experience. Maybe less structured or differently structured, but they started, there were demos, and they graduated. What was the additional value then? How was it then different compared to accelerators that you basically said didn't work, the existing ones?
I guess one thing is that in most of the accelerators, you join a Zoom, and with us, and it's yeah, it's a funny thing. You just come in, and then I see you, I smile, I greet you, I hug you, and I'm like, yo man, how is it going? Because I give a shit. Like it's just like you just need someone that sometimes when you have a bad day, you just want to look at someone, smile, go give them a hug, ask them, yo, what's up? How can I help? How can we help? And that's what happened at scale of 20 people through Ship It Thursdays, which is something that we did every Thursday, sharing lunch together, and also some of the people presenting the wins and the struggles that they have been experiencing. And the beauty of it was that it was between us. It was private in a large group of people, so people felt, so people could be vulnerable and open, and don't need to bullshit or lie about things or pretend, better say what you're struggling with, because you will get support and people will help you. And, we have so many success cases in such a short period of time. And I believe this is what separates us, is the community. I mean, like, you can call it whatever, like, oh yeah, community, it's what is it? It's not tangible, whatever. Like, come here, you'll see how tangible it is. You can literally touch the people. What is more tangible? What's more tangible than touching the person that's next to you? Being there for them, opening, giving them an intro. Like, man, it's like it's a passion project turned a generational company eventually.
Where did the Ship It part come from? I mean, when you started, it was very strong emphasis on, we need to work from 9 to 9, 6 days a week. We actually need to nail it. We need to get to the result. We ship it every Thursday. Like, no matter what, you need to. First time when I visited, actually, you said, I don't give a shit about anything, but they need to ship something every Thursday. So,
very true.
It translated also to your later stages, which we'll get to in a second. But What was the kind of motivation, or where did you get this? Why it was so forced, and why do you think it is so important to kind of go all in and there's no other option to validate or to move forward?
I think it wasn't forced, it was real. And the realness came that it came from me, from the inside, right? I've been hardcore dude since I can remember, you know, like if I do something, I have like a very strong opinion. I'm happy to change the opinion when I get more facts. But like, how can you say that things are not working if you're not working 20 hours a day? I mean, like, I hate whiny people. Show me what have you done actually. Like, have you tried? Or like, oh no, I do not understand. I couldn't get through. Right. So show me what you have done. I haven't done anything because I didn't know where to start. So start. Like, this is the issue, you know? So pushing through that momentum, I think for me in general as a human being, it's extremely easy to start. I'm struggling a lot to finish things. And I've realized that there's probably a bigger chunk of people that are struggling to start things than to finish them. So that's why I come in with this a bit kind of like brainwashy sort of type of gospel, and be like, yo, just try and ship something. And I have seen from my experience, you know, how fast it is possible to do things because of Founders Inc. So like, I give a lot of credit to them because they have really been impactful and have actually shaped up, you know, the way that BaseSpace started, and you know where it's going as well. So it's you know, there's so many different, like, why should you build, like, from the simplest tech things, you know, like I'm not like a technical guy, you know, I don't write code. But then, you know, when we were building like an app or like a new product, we tried to build it. Lucas was coding the elements himself, and I was like, man, what the fuck are you doing? You know, there's like Next.js libraries, you know, like we switched the tech stack, you know, we went to build on Vercel. So that was like back in 2023, you know, like it wasn't that obvious, you know. Next.js was just kind of starting out. And then, oh yeah, you need to do like login, right? And then log in with Google, Apple, Facebook, and all of that. Like, it takes you 2 weeks to develop. Or you can use Clerk, a service that is specifically for authentication, you know, and it's just like literally implementation, copy and paste. So it was the mindset of, you don't need to reinvent things, and that's what engineers do really well. They try to fucking redo the thing that you don't have to build it again. They're trying to invent the bike again. So I guess that perception also kind of influenced me to be like, yo, you need to get to something, you know, get it out. When you have a deadline, don't change the deadline, don't extend it, get rid of your scope. I think that's what YC says as well. Do the product scope, put on a deadline, don't change the deadline, change the scope. When you're getting closer and you cannot deliver, oh, okay, eliminate, you know. Elon Musk also is really good at that, right? Like eliminating the 20% of the fat. Yeah.
Okay, let's switch it around. This was the old way how you were approaching BaseSpace. It was big room. There were people physically there. You were kind of hacking together, doing Ship It Thursday, doing showcases, basically what is done. At one point, you decided to shift the narrative a bit, or kind of change what the BaseSpace is.
Mm-hmm.
What happened, why, and to what it became?
For our founders, it's the very same thing. Just for us, maybe it's different. You know, the way that we are looking at it as the generational company. You know, like, what does that mean? And I think for us, it's about uniting and enabling people to believe in themselves. You know, this is like, what else is there to do? Like, the life is so short. Why not to create something that you want? You know, why not to live the life that you want? Why do you need to go to that work? You know, like, okay, you make money, but then you don't have, like, you don't really have time. You don't have freedom. You know, like, this is the most beautiful thing that you can do. And to actually make an impact and create the best value for the founders that we have in-house, we cannot stay local. And we cannot stay Baltics. And that's where the vision came. Okay, we know how to find talent. We're really enjoying these things that we're doing. The total amount of people that we could actually like find and work with in Lithuania might be a little bit little. What if we kind of take what we have done and be like, actually, I think it was Ugne from By Founders that said it really well. what if you're like, are you like a bit of a traveling circus? And I was like, oh, what a nice phrase, you know? For some people, it could be like someone might be offended. And I fucking love it because it's about me, because it is a bit of a circus. You know, it's about the energy. We're changing there, like we're having laughs, you know, like we're swearing, like it's open, it's free, it's like it's a place for you to express yourself. And we want to do something with By Founders in Copenhagen. So we're gonna be collabing together to do a series of events, bringing really cool people together, then actually testing them out in a like a short burst of like a hackathon, or like maybe not safe for work program that we did here, like a version of something, or like trying to cater for that particular local that local market. And then invite them to come here, right? Because we will have the infrastructure, we will have the support. We already are building this base founder collective where the successful founders that went through the program will help the others, and we will be able to attract or find, help, support them, and also back them financially. Because like this, like it like I had a very interesting debate, or like I don't know, argument, call it that. Oh, grants or money don't work. I mean, like, it doesn't work when you have shitloads, but when you don't have any, it does fucking work. Like, you can quit your, like, not even quit your job. You don't have to find a job, you know? Like, let's change the narrative. Like, of course you can work nights and weekends, but if you cannot even stand working at a job, right? And you want to do something, but you cannot because of the financial constraint, like having that freedom with like 25 or 50K ticket, you know, to actually also have a reason to tell your mom that, mom, I'm not going to the uni. Well, like I just saw Ginteras actually go through us. He's 16-year-old. He never skipped no Sunday brew that we have every single Sunday, the open doors.
What is Sunday brew?
It's like a open door event where anybody can come in, get to meet the founders. We do a bit of a kind of like intro. We kind of measure the temperature in the ecosystem, and that's where we got some really cool people into our community program challenge, not safe for work thing, right?
My favorite slogan of your 9-to-5 exit strategy, which I think it's fucking genius. I absolutely love it.
Appreciate it.
I don't know how are you cooking those slogans, but anyway, before we get there, run me through the success story. So obviously, in order to have such confidence like you have, and to move at such a pace, and to be so ballsy, and to claim everything that you're saying, you need to have some backup for this. I mean, how do you measure success? What are the success stories? And, you know, run me through the numbers.
Yeah. So to start, so again, I think like it very times up really well, or like breaks into cycles, or like cycles of base space 1.0, base space 2.0, and base space 3.0, right? So 1.0 was a group of friends that we talked about, right? And it was just, is it fun or not? Like, do people find value? Yes or no? It was binary, right? The second was when we started like, let's say, making it more of
post fundraising.
Yeah, like post fund.
So that's already business, put it this way.
Yeah. Let's call it business. So like, okay, funded founders, you know, like we need to like somehow show some numbers, you know, why should people give us money? Because like if we don't do revenue, we need to raise it again, or like somehow find ways to make money. And love language in Lithuania is in euros, you know, so if you can show value that you have created, and we like started adding the valuations of the teams that have went through our community, and in the past 9 months that was 30 million. Then one of the teams is raising the second round that should at the least double it. So that's exciting. And then 3.0 is about how many people do we impact, right? It's not about, we cannot really control the fundraise or like the valuation process, and we don't want to become like a traditional VC that's just deploying capital. And, you know, like there's so many other people that can do it really well, but what they cannot do really well is, or like their time is not worth doing this, or maybe they just don't want to, is to like get into the trenches and, you know, dig with your hands and find those people, you know, and talk to them, like spend time. Like if you would look at my calendar, like every single day I have at least 6 conversations with different founders. It's like I'm constantly talking and I'm asking, how can we help? And they tell me, oh yeah, I'm struggling with this, We give some perspective, like, because I get so much context. I'm like an LLM. I have so much context, and it's a bit kind of like private. And then the people send a query like, oh yeah, I'm struggling with this. I'm like, oh yeah, the guy just like 2 weeks ago had the issue with the same thing. You should talk to him. Boom, connection, WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, I have about 400 or 500 group chats. For like it's introductions to people, and like being active, like I'm responding at 2 a.m. So that is my job, to be present.
Basically building an MCP layer on top of Jonas, basically.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, well, I'm trying out Get Victor. I don't know if you've seen that product, like that connects to your Slack, Notion, Beeper, and like it kind of puts all together. Like you should check it out. It's pretty cool. So to automate, but to come back, the 3.0 is about impacting people, right? Like we want to convert 1 million builders to base founders. What does that mean? That it is that they take the leap, that they believe in themselves first, that they can do it. We want to be this inspirational, this spark bit, and a cheeky hint to our new rebranding that a certain keywords might be shown somewhere, right? And yeah, like it's about the impact that we can deliver. Last year we counted that 34 people became base founders. So that means that they quit their full-time occupation, being a student, being an employee, working as a freelancer or whatever, and then they actually turned a founder. And this year the plan is to triple that.
So 100.
Yeah, minimum. Like I think there will be more. Like we already, like after this demo day, yeah, I guess it's we got 11 teams. The top team that we were thinking dropped out in the first week, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like this will not be a success." And every single person that came to the program has traction. Like I cannot believe, and I think if we create the conditions, and some of them maybe need a little bit more time, to build up a bit more. Maybe they need that first kind of believer check, if you can call it. So that's why I invited every single one we see in Lithuania. With some we are like really good friends, with some maybe not, but like it doesn't matter, it's for the best of our community. So just want to kind of emphasize that we need to come together to make this work. If we're separate, like it will not happen. So we're open to do things as long as our values align. And our values are very fucking simple. Founder first. Like if you are not putting the founder first, like you are not our friend. You'll get access, you'll see the videos, you'll be there, but you cannot enter our home, So yeah, so there's that, and they really respect that, and they really love it, and then they can be real with me, and then that's when the best thing happens, friendships, relationships, and hopefully that will be till the day I die.
But very quickly, maybe because you mentioned that there's a very let's say third version of base space.
Yeah.
What is the difference, or what's the mechanical difference? What's happening with the
I think
teams?
we lost. Well, in 2.0 we didn't have the last bit, the missing part, which is founder success. Right? I was kind of trying to sort of work on it, but I couldn't really figure out the model, and it was very overwhelming to me because I'm not like business guru like dude, like I haven't really scaled any start. Like I can help at the very early steps, and also like I think I was a bit blocked, and then things kind of open up when I saw the full vision, and then like I got this like never-ending burst of energy, like some resource that I can tap into. When I realized that there's those 3 most important things: finding means that we travel, right? So we go to different locations, we find the early stage founders, we are the first people to believe in them. So this is our one of the mission statement parts. The second is that we help them and support them. So we were building this new space, 750 square meter office, that we will have literal physical location where you can come in, be surrounded by like-minded people, have that accountability, a little bit of structure, a little bit of kind of momentum and speed indication for you to understand, are you performing above or under the threshold, right? And that kind of helps you to also measure the temperature within your own team, within your performance, and also as a community. And the third thing is the founder success. So backing the people. So, and it comes in two ways. So the first one is capital. So we started pulling capital together from our successful founders, because some of them, like are doing really, really well already over the past 12 months. And we pulling together like a master class team in a way, so we will be allocating from 2 to 5 base founders to join a particular startup, give 5 or 10K checks to the team, so that they get the 50K that we believe is more than enough to actually do really great shit. Someone from, like, if you're building a technical product, we have really technical dudes that can help you, right? If you're building something that needs paid advertising, come on, like, we are the best at it. Or like we have Chris and we have David and Sina from Holla, like they are the best guys, to do paid media, right? If you're building something that is visionary, we have Armando's, right? So there's so many different people that can actually help you. And buying in, also taking part in the outcome, having the incentive to help you, to give you their time to kick it off. And then the last bit, the missing part where I come in, is the roadshow. I'll help you to prepare for a fundraise. So we'll push you through with 50K, get the maximum outcome that you can get together as a community, together as base founders, and then we fly, baby. We go to UK, to Germany, to the north of fucking Europe, like wherever you want to, like I'm gonna be working with those VCs, building those connections. I'm gonna be the best scout they have ever seen, And it's funny enough that us scouting a team and A16Z Fund scouting a team turns out to be the same team, right? Just that they were able to deploy money and like to get in, like we were not, and like that was the mistake. But I think that aim is right.
No, it's good. How are you planning to sustain this? I mean, the ambition is great, but it also implies that there are quite a lot of money needed in order to maintain the operation scale.
When the energy is right, money flows. I will be, when everything finishes up, because still there are many bits in progress. I would love to have a conversation again and tell you how much has happened over this week and how little I slept over this week. But big motion.
Listen, man, it's I love the energy, and I think the coolest part is that it doesn't sound like you're building a business. I mean, this is everything is pointing to the fact that it should be built like a business, but you have some unique way or some deep thoughts on everything, which makes it very different to everything else that's happening in the market. And everything that you have described today, the passion that you described it with, I think it's very much reflected on the market. I mean, the numbers you gave, but also myself, who I started traveling to Lithuania now, basically every month. There's this electricity in the air, and there are young generation, not even young, there are a new generation of builders. There are some older guys who just buy in the vision and kind of quit their job, start building because you enabled this. So I think that there's no doubt that the positive change is happening, that you're one of the driving forces of this change. And I really hope that you can continue and build on top of the momentum. Final question before I wrap it up for me. Should we be speaking in 5 years? What do you think today base space will be then?
Oh, well, obviously the pan-European network, I think like we will be that 28th, well, hopefully Ukraine will get into European Union, but will be that the last European Union state, right? Like us as founders will have our own different world that we can live in with no fucking boundaries, with no instructions and rules. It's just like, because the values are so right, that we understand each other so well, that we have the best people together, we can make like seismic fucking waves, like do that tsunamis, and San Francisco is on the shore, right?
Let's wrap it up with this ambition. It was absolutely a pleasure to talk to you today, Jonas, and good luck for the demo day because it's going to happen in several hours. We're recording on the 26th of February.
And we're going to be streaming actually that, so we can share the link and then the recording can...
I will add it to the link of the podcast so you can see both of those. So I don't know, from my side, thanks for being with us. And I was thinking how to finish it off. So I'll just say very boringly, that's a wrap.
You should have said chop chop. That's on brand.
Let's go with this one. All right. And on this note, we'll wrap it up. Chop chop.